Yeah. What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka the Big Lip Bastard, aka the 110-time social distance champ, aka the Bacon Beguiler. Bringing you yet another episode of Switch of Sights, episode 65 to be exact. Today's date is July 23rd, 2020. The world is still messed up, still apocalyptic, essentially, really, if we want to look at the grand scheme of things. Um, but hey, we striving and surviving. That's all we know how to do, you know. Um, can't stop, won't stop. You know, I mean, just gotta do what we gotta do. Um, so yeah, welcome to Switches Sites, gaming podcast where I talk about just that. Um, so yeah, today, or this, well, I guess technically today and this week was generally a big week for Xbox specifically, which we'll get more into, at least in the next segment. Overall, yeah, this whole week was riding on this event, and I'd have to say, slightly disappointing, to be honest. If we're gonna be transparent, specifically, just the anticipation for this event was all this week, and boy, I felt kind of let down, to be honest. Yeah, really did. Anyway, let's stop the dilly dally and get right into it. So yes, big topic today. Actually, just today, Xbox had their Xbox Game Showcase. They also had like a little pre-show with Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest ordeal, where actually he got a lot of actually maybe objectively slightly more interesting stuff than was at the actual show. But yeah, so one that stood out was I forgot, it's this new 3D platformer from Square Enix, and I think the guy that I want to say originally created Sonic, and then some other dude, I think from within Square Enix. Um, but nonetheless, I forgot the damn game. It was something Funland. I have it. Let's look up the comprehensive list. Um, it was something Funland. I know it. Something Funland. Something land of the fun. Let's thoroughly. Uh, Let me also get my time code down. Like two, 2 minutes in, I want to say. Hmm. Where is you? Alan Wonderworld. Alan Wonderworld, that's what it's called. Yeah, 3D platformer from Sonic the Hedgehog creators. It's crazy. Looked pretty cool. Not necessarily directly up my alley, but I found that more interesting than, um, other things. So yeah, I guess that was the only one that really, I guess, stood out. Of course, the big starter of the show, Halo Infinite. I mean, yeah, it was great. It's hard to talk about what we saw like at that with that what 10-minute demo Halo, and at least from public reception, it seems like people aren't really impressed by the graphical fidelity, which is pretty understandable. I think it's just it seems like it's like that game was missing some types of graphical elements that maybe isn't in the final build. Like it's missing like some shadows and shaders and stuff. I hope that's the case because I mean, otherwise, yeah, it does not look like a big jump. It actually does look like a game I can play on my Xbox One X, which I think that leads to another thing, which a lot of people were speculating about it, like if keeping previous gen or keeping some of these big titles cross gen, and by that meaning that the game releases on both uh, current generation platforms and next generation platforms, what that would pose in terms of in theory, it's only so much you can improve from a base game on the Xbox One or current generation to the next. Um, so it seems to be somewhat of a pretty solid theory, even arguably a fact that like if you have a game that's cross generation from previous gen or current gen to the next gen, it's gonna suffer from that regardless. There's really no way to fully utilize the capabilities of the next gen console because you're always gonna be held back from the previous generation console since most people, most developers, I think a lot of them have said this, that they develop for the previous or older console first and then try to upgrade or upscale from that. So regardless, you always have the previous generation console basis or template, if anything, to go off of. So it's hard to you know yeah, natively make a game fully optimized for the Xbox One X or, whatever next, even as a general theory or rule of thumb. It just seems like it in some way, shape, or form always compromises the graphical fidelity of a game, at least from a lot of past experiences with cross gen games specifically. Um, it just it just is like it's always going to be held back essentially, which is I think what we possibly may have seen here, unless hopefully maybe we are just seeing like Xbox One X or Xbox One Scarlet, the maybe the rumored yet to be announced um kind of a gateway console or cheaper option to get into the next generation family of Xbox One or Xbox consoles. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of unfortunate, but at the same time, for people that maybe want to stick with their current generation consoles, there's like a wealthy library of games already to kind of still explore and have yet to be explored for a lot of folks. But yeah, it's like a double-edged sword, man. It's like you when you do that, you there the next generation is going to suffer from a graphical standpoint, not knowing that you fully aren't like getting all the capabilities of the next gen console due to the fact that it's been crippled in a sense of having to be compatible with the previous generation console. So yeah, I think that possibly is what we saw. Um, and a lot of us speculated that that might be the case. And I mean, going by the gameplay trailer, it's kind of what it was. I mean, it looked good. Don't get me wrong, but it could have. It gave you the impression that this I could play this on my current console right now. I don't really need a Series X to play this, which I think is in some light the wrong impression. But for people that aren't ready to jump yet, want the Xbox Series X to develop more, um, a little bit more difficult. Um, you know, I don't know. It's kind of it's a little disappointing, I have to say. At first, seeing the gameplay, I mean, yeah, let's I guess separate that. Like the gameplay in of itself looks awesome, solid. The Halo and love with like some awesome ass improvements, like freaking the rumors were true. The damn grappling hook is in. It's pretty cool how he used it. I'm assuming there's some more additional capabilities to that where you can actually do like more creative stuff possibly. And man, just thinking about the possibilities, how this is gonna play in multiplayer. Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I can criticize this, but I mean I'm still gonna play it at the end of the day. That game is still getting played. I mean, because Halo is definitely always will have a soft spot in my heart. But um, you always just think about what could have been if this game was specifically um exclusive to the Series X. Um, but it is what it is. But yeah, at least going back to the gameplay, actually, it showed a lot of good stuff for a decent trailer. For showing gameplay of this game for the first time. Um, yeah, so the grappling hook, which is pretty cool. You saw Master Chief like grab a like what I think or seem is a fusion core of some sort, and then like throw it at the one turret, and then I think that took its shield out, and then he was able to pop off the I think grunt that was on it. Then you had freaking what else? He was able to do like what other game used the grapple hook? Damn, it was somewhat of a recent game that does it. Titanfall. Titanfall does very much so. Yeah, so straight up Titanfall where you can like grapple on the people and pull yourself in and melee and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. It's just making me think of all the possibilities in multiplayer. It's gonna be so great. So it seems to be like pretty much a evolution of Halo 5 still, which is not a bad thing because Halo 5 is arguably my second favorite multiplayer game, specifically multiplayer. Campaign is a whole different story. It would be way down in that respect, but from a multiplayer gameplay perspective, I think it's great. A logical evolution of Halo. To bring it into the modern times with Call of Duties and Apex Legends and stuff like that. So um, confirmed, or at least it's for certain that running is in it, grappling hook. And they showed a lot of new weapons, which is pretty cool. They showed this new like assault rifle. It seems like not be a battle rifle or like a DMR. It seems to be its own thing, not assault rifle. It seems to be its own unique new assault rifle, which is pretty cool. I like how it looks. Liked how it sounded. It seemed to have a pretty steady fire rate. So I'm looking forward to that. I guess the question that's popping in my head is like, what faction is it? I guess it might be USMC still. USNC. I think USNC still. It didn't look like it didn't seem to have any alien like Covenant or Brute vibes necessarily. So I'm very curious about that. They show like a new pistol, seemed like a deagle, if anything, which is pretty cool. Liked how it looked, like the firing, the overall animations of it were pretty awesome. Um, I would have said that there was a new pistol, but it looks like just a modification of the Magnum from Halo 2. I guess technically maybe Halo. No, I can't even say Halo 5. Probably Halo 2. Um Halo no. Yeah, Halo 2. Halo 2 had the not so not so great Magnum. But that's at least what it looks closest to. Then they had like some grenade launcher type rocket, pseudo rocket thing. I forgot what that's called. But that looked more alienish. So I'm not sure. And it's definitely weird in terms of the time frame, which that had me kind of confused because it seems like the time frame is a little weird in regards to, I think they said officially it is set like 3 or 5 years after five. So I guess they obviously set some space between five, even though I thought five left on a cliffhanger. But who knows? But I guess that was the other thing. Like, it seems like the Prometheans are completely, possibly not even in this game, which is weird. I thought they were a cool enemy type that they introduced. Maybe my memory's fuzzy on how five ended, but I was pretty certain that the Prometheans were still around. But who knows? So yeah, I guess it was weird on that aspect as well. Like, we had Covenant and the Brutes back. I don't even think they were in five. I don't recall. I could be totally wrong. It's been what since 2015. So I played Halo 5. Yeah, after I beat the campaign, I was done. So that may warrant a full campaign, full playthrough of the whole series because I haven't actually done that in a while. Actually, it might be time. Master Chief Collection is in its prime. Um, Halo 5 is great. Yeah, I might have to do that. But anyway, yeah. So I am not sure. And then they showed, I guess, this who's supposed to be the main antagonist. This what looks to be a brute. I don't know. They look like brutes, but maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe it's just like how they're designed graphically, because they, I guess, admittedly do look very poor compared to like other previous games, like even the older games like Halo 3 and I guess Halo 3 and 4ish were the only ones that they were in. I guess partly too. But even like the Master Chief Collection versions look kind of better than this current version. So I don't know, man. I don't know. How's it going, Johnny? What up, man? So I'm not certain about that, man. Really not. Overall though, I mean, it's Halo. The gameplay is looks tight. So I mean, as long as the gameplay is solid and good, I'll probably stick with it. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings, but at the same time, it's like it's Halo. I mean, the graphics are reasonable from what we saw, but I guess this is probably the biased fan in me, but I feel like maybe that the build that they showed is probably not fully final game necessarily that maybe potentially it was showing the Xbox One X or Scarlet or whatever. Uh, I don't know. I don't know, man. Uh, it looks good though. I mean, it looks okay. It looks like I can play on my Xbox One X, but uh, it's kind of sad. I wish it did have more punch than it did. I think the graphical fidelity kind of hurt it a bit, but oh well, oh well. At least sticking on that topic, there were some additional details in regards to uh some stuff we didn't see in the trailer, which is kind of interesting. That in terms of the direction that this could go, um, specifically quoting from the head of Halo, Chris Lee. Halo Infinite is the start of our platform for the future. We want Infinite to grow over time versus going to those numbered titles and having all that segmentation that we had before. It's really about creating Halo Infinite as the start of the next gen or next 10 years of Halo, and then building that as we go with our fans community. This does not mean that Halo Infinite is a live service game a la Destiny, but it does mean that new story experiences will be told underneath Infinite's umbrella. And it also means Infinite will be evolved technologically quite a while. 343 confirmed that Infinite will get free ray tracing updates sometime after launch. It's like, nah, I mean, isn't that kind of like Destiny though? But all right, okay. So that's kind of vague, but at the same time, it does kind of insinuate that there's this ability for, I guess, a additional upgrade to the game, like full blown game releases like Destiny, or extensive content DLC release is like Destiny. I don't know. That's they're gonna need to clear that up. We're gonna need see some damn proof with that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the more I think about it now, it's kind of disappointing. It's like I don't want to admit that I'm disappointed, but I am a little bit. I guess I was just how hyped up everything was. I just was waiting for Halo to just like knock me off my feet, but it didn't necessarily. But I mean, if the graphics were better, maybe it would. Yeah, it's hard to say, man. I don't know. It's like I don't even know what I wanted. I guess I just wanted to be blown away, but I don't feel like I was that. But I was moderately appeased. That makes sense. Um, but anyway, so that was the biggest. I'd say personally for me the biggest showing for Xbox. Um, yeah, you had to tell me why they showed me that, or showed us in terms of the Xbox event back in May. No, not this year, but like, man, was it a full year ago? Maybe that was September ish. I know they had an event in September where they showed a lot of gameplay and stuff, but I'm not sure if that was the case. But I know we saw a little bit of that. Psychonauts 2, I'm not really familiar with that, but I know it's like a cult hit for a lot of people. Um, they also showed State of Decay 3, which was a cool, interesting non-gameplay trailer. Well, it's cool to get some confirmation there. I guess I like the fact, I guess now you don't have to worry about what managing supplies, managing people, getting into fights with each other. managing, scavenging and all that. Now we got to worry about zombie deer, and potentially zombie wolves, and that's just more stress. State of Decay 3, thanks, State of Decay. So now we have to worry about that. Hopefully, it flexes its graphical muscles with the Series X, but I don't know. Now that they made a 2 year established 2 year agreement that all Xbox games are gonna be cross gen, so that's like, I don't know. Might have to throw that out the window, which is unfortunate. Really is. Outer Worlds DLC is interesting. Would have been cool if they like gave you some confirmation. Well, I guess it's natural to assume that it will be have smart delivery since it is on Game Pass, even though that's not like a established agreement. But yeah. What else? Everwild was interesting. I'm not quite sure what that game is, but at least it was interesting. Trying to think anything else that stood out. I guess that's the problem. It wasn't anything that necessarily like, man, I really want to play it. It was more like, I'm not sure. I'd have to play it to kind of get a feel for it. But it's like at the same time, it's like, yeah, we're actually gonna be able to play it since it's gonna be on Game Pass, which at least I personally have, and probably most people maybe stick with. So yeah, I just don't know, man. Then you got yeah, man, it really wasn't anything. They gave you a little bit of details for Hellblade 2, which was interesting, but no gameplay. I guess when you sum it all up, it kind of felt like May's showcase event that was supposedly supposed to be games as well, which, I mean, we got more gameplay than that, but I don't know, still wasn't enough. But then again, it's like somebody else, maybe some of these games appeal more to them than me. Um, I guess that's one thing I can say, that they did cover a whole gamut. Like I know Phil Spencer said that they were going to cover a whole wide range of people who want to, who, well, I guess no, in general, just a wide gamut of games, for various tastes and stuff. So, um, that that is something I think they did deliver on, if anything. The new Warhammer game, Warhammer 40K Dark Tide, I think. Pretty interesting. I played a little bit of that. I haven't played too much, but seemed pretty interesting. Um, what else? I don't know, really. The fact that nothing's coming to my mind when I'm thinking about the event as a whole, at least for me, is saying that, um, kind of forgetful overall. Um, Not trying to be too harsh, but I mean, a lot of the games didn't really speak to me personally. Um, you know, so then at least it ended with Fable, which, I mean, I'm not even a fan of Fable. I haven't played any of them, but I know that's big for a lot of the folks um, that do love it. Growing up with the Xbox, going all the way back to the original Xbox. But just when I reflect on it all, yeah, it's just disappointing. It's like May let me down. I was like, okay, all right, things happen, COVID and all that stuff. And then this one, I was like, I was anticipating a lot. Yeah, I actually, my expectations were maybe a bit unrealistic, to be honest. But eh, yeah, I was just disappointed. Um, I guess with that, I guess to maybe provide some more explanation as to why. Yeah, as to why it was is that I kind of wanted. There was a lot of games that I was anticipating that didn't show, which that's probably the biggest thing that I assume was just a given that would be shown there. I guess a couple Battle Toads. That was the big one that I thought was gonna be there, but wasn't. It was shown I think at last year's event. Um, but didn't really hear a peep. The only like I guess reference we saw was in that grounded game where they had a Zit's like I guess action figure that they were standing on and that. But outside of that, nothing, which is disappointing. I totally was betting on a shadow drop. That would have been perfect shadow drop game. Like Battletoads will be smart delivery of Xbox One Series X enhanced, but you can play it right now. Oh shit! Oh my god! But no, no, that did not happen at all. Did not happen at all. And at least I was, in the thread of era discussing, the disappearance of why Battletoads wasn't shown. Nobody knows. It just went silent after I think last year's E3. Just crickets, crickets. Um, so who knows? It's a mystery at this point. Nobody knows what happened to Battletoads. Please call for help if you have seen Battletoads. Um, a lot of people are speculating that maybe the artistic direction, which honestly I wasn't a fan of, but I it didn't really kill the hype for me. It seemed like the gameplay was still good, but apparently there were more issues with it than what was led on in terms of just some of the design and the fundamental gameplay, I guess, in terms of just the hit sounds and things like that. At least from what I'm hearing, um, man, it's unfortunate. But I mean, I take that over, Battletoads coming out and being horrible, like a just just nail in the coffin for even any potential to bring Battletoads back. Which I would not want. I'd rather, them wait it out and, kind of iron out whatever they're doing and then come back with it. Um, then Perfect Dark, man. Perfect Dark. Come on, Joanna Dark. Let's bring her back. Bring her back with her double shotgun, double blast shotgun, her laptop gun, Mauler, far sight, shoot people through walls. Come on. Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark. I just say that like I assume everybody say that assume like everybody knows. Oh yeah. Perfect Dark, yeah, of course. Yeah, it's gotta come back. Only saying that because I guess it was somewhat rumored that it is coming back with I think the name being registered on Twitter by a registered account from Microsoft. Um, but I guess maybe they didn't want to they didn't want to detract from Halo Infinite, maybe possibly. But I guess at the same time, maybe they don't want to show too many things that are way far ahead that are like, oh well, I ain't gonna play that in like 3 years from now or whatever. So it's a delicate balance. Um, they showed Fantasy Star Online new DLC, which is crazy for a game that's like technically 12 years old, at least in Japan, I believe. I guess what's old to them is new to us. So, um, that's interesting. Actually, may get me to start playing more of that. I think I've only played the beta, and that's really been it. I've never jumped back into it. I guess I heard there were a lot of technical issues. Hopefully, they ironed them out. That may have pertained specifically to the PC version, though, not necessarily the Xbox version. So who knows? Um, Crossfire, Crossfire X. So they showed a bit of the campaign. I think it was kind of all over the place. Really, it was just like I mean, it was kind of stereo. It felt a little stereotypical modern warfare, Call of Duty type. Oh, I gave you an order. I gave you an order, Jim. Like, fuck your orders, sir. Some That's kind of the vibe I got, to be honest. If we want to sum it up, I gave you an order, Jim. Fuck your orders, sir. That's in a nutshell. That's essentially, I'm pretty sure what happened. Um, but it's being made by Remedy, which is one of my favorite developers. Made one of my favorite games of all time, Max Payne. So I mean, I'm invested. It's kind of weird that they said it like I noticed it, and I think Wario64 on Twitter confirmed that it is the single player isn't included in Game Pass, so you have to pay for that, which is weird. But the multiplayer component of that game is gonna be free to play. So I'm kind of curious how that's gonna play out. I guess maybe they're just both separate games, or maybe there's just a dedicated launcher for that within the multiplayer component, or maybe try to promote that single player component to people that play the free to play or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I am interested in Crossfire. I hear it's a big, huge game in Korea. I want to say. Um, it seems like from the gameplay I saw, it seems like a mix between Counter Strike and Call of Duty, which I love both of those games. So I mean, why wouldn't I love Crossfire X? Um, I've heard some other people had differing opinions for that, but who knows? I mean, it's gonna be free, so what's the worst? Outside of that, yeah, just that Fable teaser, the new, like, I guess it seems like a freaking what you call it, Skyrim killer that'll sit Obsidian, the people that formerly were with Bethesda, are making a first person RPG set in a medieval fantasy setting. Um, and it's hard to deny that they're trying to compete directly with Skyrim. I mean, what do they call it? I think Airborne, Airborne. What is it called? Arrow something, Aurora. Sound like a ignorant black dad. What's that you got? You got your damn Airhorn, Matterhorn. What is that? What? Um, this list is not comprehensive. Not comprehensive at the least bit. So let's at least confirm it. City and game. It's gonna drive me crazy. Avowed. Avowed. Oh, it's close. Oh, it's close. Arrowborn, Aragorn. Oh, it's close. It got an A in it, so got an A and a D and an N. So it was kind of close. I don't know. Yeah. So all in all, if I had to grade Xbox Game Showcase, I'd have to give it a C, solid C. They did what they needed to do technically. Didn't really promote the Xbox One X. A lot of the games there they showed seemed like they could have been on. I could just play on my Xbox One X, which is unfortunate. But at least at the same time, you could tell they're definitely trying to promote Game Pass, which my understanding has been working like immensely well for them. So they'd be kind of dumb not to try and promote that train, because I know before the whole event they said all these games will be on Xbox Game Pass or whatever. So there's that. I forgot they did. They mentioned, what was it? They mentioned Destiny. Destiny. I think next year, Destiny is going to be on Game Pass with all the DLC and content. So that's actually a pretty nice deal that they're actually buddy buddy now. I guess considering they split from Activision, so that kind of clears all that cloudiness, if anything. And then I forgot about Ori and the Blind Forest. I think that may technically be the first 4K 120 frames per second game. If so, that's pretty cool. I just may just play it just off of the genuine interest of playing a game that's at the maximum fidelity that this game, this console promises, just to see what it's like if it actually delivers. Um, but yeah, at least as a whole, yeah, solid C. Um, just wasn't too many games that really appealed to me. No damn Devil May Cry no damn Devil May Cry 5 special edition. Ah man, disappointing, yo. Disappointing. Disappointing. It really is. Nothing. A lot of missed opportunities, but they seem to be hitting that it's probably gonna be more news like later in the year. Or I mean, they don't got much time before they drop these new consoles or whatever. So I don't know, man. Um, as a whole, though, yeah, solid C. No price, no details about that, but I understand at the same time because they Xbox and PlayStation are playing like they playing the hardest game of chicken right now. It is crazy. It is crazy. Somebody's gonna have to budge, but who is gonna budge? That's the question. That's the question. Um, yeah. So, I guess sticking in line with that, let me put my code 40. Um. So yeah. In line with that. Um. Interesting coincidences, if anything. Like I guess before this event, there was some weirdness going on in terms of Xbox Live Gold, where the yearly gold subscription is no longer available on Xbox.com, which is super weird because it's been a staple since Xbox Live has ever been a thing. But all of a sudden, it's not. So I think that you know admittedly so, had a lot of people like suspicious, like why would they not have an option for yearly gold and only monthly options? So it could be like only one or two things, really two things, I guess. Either Xbox Live is gonna be free in terms of free multiplayer, or they're trying to push Xbox Live or Xbox Live Game Pass Ultimate, or somehow pushing that agenda in terms like maybe making a whole new bundle with Xbox Live and maybe potentially hiking the price up. It could be either or. Hopefully, obviously, it'd be the free option because that would make more sense since Xbox Live is or Xbox Game Pass is actually, to my understanding, is way more lucrative now in terms of giving people a lot more options, um and getting them a lot more business that maybe they could offset, um not having to charge people for Xbox multiplayer, since they'll technically, if they want to have access to all these types of games, subscribe to Xbox Game Pass. That makes sense. So it's weird either way. We have I'd say we still don't know. Thought maybe we would have found it out at the showcase, but to no damn avail. So it's like, where do we go from here? But I would assume we maybe get something soon about why they did this, because people got they getting their pitchforks out. They getting real antsy. So who knows? What's going, Mar? What up, man? So yeah. Really weird. Really weird. Hopefully if it is free multiplayer, that's gonna be a huge feather in the cap for Xbox compared to PS4, and definitely a huge advantage, um competitive advantage to PS4, I guess secondly PS5 obviously, but um and it'll kind of be ironic since it was the other way around with PS3 having free multiplayer and competing against Xbox, which you had to pay. So PS3 had that advantage. Well, before they started bringing in PS Plus. So interesting stuff. Would be cool if that actually does become true. We'll see though. We'll see. That's very weird though. Yearly subscription no longer available. Has been available for the longest. I'm curious, like, of the 1 year subscriptions that are like out in the wild now. Like, are those invalid now, or are those still in effect? So, keeping in with Xbox news, technically, Yakuza Like a Dragon, probably one of the best series known to man. Um, we got some more details specifically, because it's been kind of up in the air where they said this game is going to be Xbox Series X enhanced. So if you got the Xbox One version, you just need that. You automatically upgrade to the Series X whenever you do get the Series X. So we got that, and then we did. We were kind of in the dark about a PS5 version. It seemed like potentially maybe there would only be a PS4 version for Yakuza Like a Dragon, and the Xbox Series X version will be exclusive, which would have been a weird predicament, you know, um, considering how Yakuza, I'm just calling it Yakuza 7 because that's basically what it is. Yakuza 7 has What am I thinking of? Lost my train of thought. Yakuza 7 having being the Yakuza series in general being generally exclusive to PlayStation. It would have been like really surreal times where, having that upgrade, specifically with the whole team with Ryuga Otoku Studios going exclusively to Xbox after being with PlayStation for all these years. Um, but at least now it's kind of even. And then with like the English dub, which is that was kind of surprising. Um, Apparently, Judgment did pretty good where they felt it was warranted to actually have an English dub for Yakuza. And I guess technically this is the first time a Yakuza game got a dub since the Yakuza. I think the original Yakuza, but I don't think they dubbed the second one after, I guess, the reception of the first one in terms of dub. So that's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy, but we have out of nowhere George Takei, Star Trek, who's gonna I think be voicing the main and always get it mixed up. Antagonist, protagonist, the main antagonist of this. Let me look that up real quick. I always get it mixed up. Antagonist. Antagonist. I got it right. All right. Sad to be sure. Had to check myself or wreck myself. So yeah. I'm still on the fence about this title. It has been out in the West for a while. I think it came out December last year in Japan. Um, but the turn based aspect, loved Yakuza when it was just straight up a beat 'em up, man. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's still pretty sure it's still gonna have the charm and like yeah, just overall charm and kookiness while maintaining the seriousness of the main storyline as well. The sub stories are probably still going to be great. Now it's going to be probably a whole interesting dynamic with multiple people as well. So there is that as well. So, I mean, I'm a sucker for Yakuza. So I mean, it is. Let's find coach trades. Faith. I'm guessing. I try to do these for YouTube to make the time try to utilize that chapter feature, but it doesn't seem to work. But in the event it does, we'll see. Moving on. Next topic. Metacritic is making users wait 36 hours before posting reviews. That is crazy. It kind of makes you think why they didn't do this before. But understandably, like with the outcry of The Last of Us specifically, people just review bombing the game because they thought it was some political statement. Potentially gonna trying to do the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima. Um, it only makes sense that they did this because people just being spiteful just to be spiteful, gonna just downgrade the game without even giving it a chance, not even playing it, just blindly, ignorantly, just saying what they want to say because it doesn't agree with their views or some dumb reason that they trying to formulate, which doesn't make sense at all. So good. I'd say if anything, they probably need to verify that you actually played some of the game, if anything, which I guess that's kind of a little iffy to do, but I think there is probably some way, like verify your receipt of buying the game. I don't know. Something. If they really want to review that bad, make them go through some hoops to not have like multiple like 10 accounts of the same person trying to downvote the game because they have lesbian people in it or something, which is the dumbest, just stupid, really is. But good on them for doing this, at least setting a precedent for un this. I'm not even gonna get into it because it is the dumbness of it all. This should have been done before. That's what I'm trying to say. Moving on. Yes, 50. So next topic. Boy, it's this is a little touchy, but gamer girl, man, this ain't some tone deaf mess right here. So gamer girl is supposedly supposed to be, I don't know, going by the trailer. I saw the trailer. It's supposed to be some type of FMB like the classic games like Night Trap and like I forgot the other one. There are a lot of other FMV games, but Night Trap were basically the FMV full motion video where they you make choices and then they show up basically essentially a cutscene of that choice you made and I guess the ramifications of that. But in this light, it's like all around the satire of a gamer girl and the whole, I guess, negative stereotypes of a gamer girl on, Twitch, other streaming platforms. But it's like that and like putting in a whole weird negative light and then also having a weird creepy undertone to it like Night Trap. So it's like you mix Night Trap with this weird um gamer girl negative, hugely negative stereotype. That's just that's not as nothing's gonna come good out of that. So that's pretty much what happened because like shortly after I think that trailer dropped, they they straight up like took the game down from Steam. Yeah, they took the game down from Steam, removed the press kit for it, um, rebranded it. So yeah, so I guess that hasn't been confirmed, but they're likely going to rebrand and edit the game to make it more not as controversial as was definitely going to be. I think they also said like some of the actors in that didn't even know this that was going to be the direction of the game, that they thought it was on they were under the impression that was going to be something totally different, that I guess how they cut it made it seem like totally offensive and yeah, yeah, not a good look either way. So good on them for avoiding a whole dumpster fire of just uh torment threats and stuff like that, because you know how the internet is. They will threat and threat. So yeah. So on that messed up note, I guess not necessarily messed up. They saw their effed up ways. Um, but yeah, super weird. Either way, that's pretty much all the news for this week. Um, Still disappointed about this Xbox game showcase, man. We're looking forward to it, but man, I have to say, I was let down. I really was, really was. It's what I've been up to gaming wise. That Modern Warfare, man. Um, I was actually playing this past weekend. I guess that brings me to another point. Um, or interesting tidbit of some mess that I went through for the longest. So had this have been having an internet issue for a long time now, like maybe the span of pretty much September of last year. Weirdly enough, it was around when this game Modern Warfare came out, which was like October, I think, late October. I want to say. So was having this weird issue that I didn't really notice until now, where basically if I'm playing the game, playing the multiplayer, right, and then playing it like roughly the span of 45 minutes to 3 hours. For some weird reason, the internet would completely, one, disconnect me from the internet, and two, take out our whole internet like at the house. So it was that led me to believe that it had to be something else. It had to either be the modem or the router. So did various troubleshooting steps, replacing modems, replacing routers. So I got to the point recently where I'm like, okay, it's got to be something else that's going on because we, did various troubleshooting with the modem router, couldn't find anything. So uh, I just had the idea. I was like, maybe let me just look this up. Modern Warfare crashes internet or takes out internet, something like that. So I looked that up, and lo and behold, it's like a whole freaking thread of people having this exact same issue. And a part of me thought that maybe it was just it had to be the internet because I never correlated me playing Modern Warfare with the internet going out completely. That just didn't make sense at all. But apparently, there was a lot of people. I think in South California, with Spectrum internet having this specific issue. I think it was like Comcast technically too, but at least that was a common denominator. So then come to find out it was some weird thing with these a whole like fleet of modems that were supposedly developed with this like basically defective chipset that I think is created like lawsuits where people are actually suing these companies for developing or essentially producing the modems with this defective chipset. So I do some research. I was like, let's get this specific modem that doesn't have it. Get the modem, and in order to test it out, because at this point, I'm just fearful now that I'm aware that that's the issue and that I'm technically the reason for taking down the whole internet. That I was like, let me test this then because we did a new setup, got the modem, so I went a little bit in and played like Modern Warfare like literally the whole weekend, like ridiculously a lot, and didn't get one crash at all. So I'm like, oh, thank God. So, but at the same time, I was like, well, I did get got a lot of Call of Duty in. Um, so yeah, interesting facts. So if anybody listening to this happens to get that issue, maybe want to check the modem that you don't have this defective. I think they called it a Puma 6 chipset. If you look it up, you'll know what I mean. Well, you won't know what I mean, but you'll get where you're going if that makes sense. So, very random, interesting tidbit of the day that Modern Warfare apparently, with the wrong combination, can take down your whole internet. So, the more you know, specifically. But all in all, I was grinding to get to rank 100 for the battle pass. Got all the challenges, so did that. I also was trying to get long shot challenges, which are a pain in the ass because they force you to play like ground war all the time, which I haven't done too much, but actually playing it the span of the whole weekend, I actually started appreciating it, and was liking it a lot more, and also kind of helped me get out of my comfort zone of just standard multiplayer, maybe Warzone here and there. So yeah, man, if you don't play or haven't played Ground War, pretty fun. I was playing the realism variant, which was a playlist specific one out this past week, but that one I think it went out of rotation this week. But in essence, General Ground War is pretty fun. I did not give it enough time, but I did enjoy it. So then Animal Crossing, man, this game is just bringing the worst out of me, to be honest. So then I've been technically at a standstill, which I was talking about last episode with Animal Crossing, where I'm trying to get these big bucks in this stock market. So at this point, I kept going to the Nook twins. They never always getting these shitty ass prices. It's fed up. It's fed up. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go and actually go to some threads and some well, yeah, actually I went to the Reddit thread for turnips in terms of basically people who have high turnip prices. They'll basically go to the thread and say, hey, I got high turnip prices. I'll tip. You can tip Nook Mile tickets and bells, whatever. You know, most people are pretty cool and nice about, like, no tips necessary, but if you could, yeah, any Nook Mile tickets or bells are appreciated. So basically was, trying to get some people, but every person always keep missing the deadline. People are gone. And then one person like linked to this app, which is basically specifically for Animal Crossing, I guess, specific items and stuff that people want, that people will go to that app to broadcast for people to join. And then normally it's essentially a give and take thing where if you come to my island, normally most people they'll act for like what I said before in terms of the Nook Miles tickets, bells, rare items and stuff like that. So was playing with that for a bit, kept getting my ass um kept missing out. So like I would join the queue, which is basically like their system of like, basically a line for people to, line up and go and join people's villages to get tickets and bells. At least for me, I was looking for tulips or turnips to sell at a profit, which is basically how you can make a lot of money fast in Animal Crossing, which is at least the part where I'm at right now, where I need a lot of money, do a lot of stuff like mainly build my house and what else? Building a house and other miscellaneous stuff that makes things a lot easier with a lot of bells you got. So finally got to a person, and I was out. I just put my money in. They were selling a pretty good price. I think like 488 bells. So I got a pretty decent profit. Had like 1.6 million bells. I was swimming in it. I'm just saying, I was swimming in that. I was swimming in them bells. So that was a pretty pretty good light at the end of the tunnel. You know, um, it's pretty damn good light, I have to say. So that concludes somewhat of my Animal Crossing tirade or tribulation there. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima. Man, I haven't played too much of it. Played roughly about like maybe 3-5 hours. Game is dope, I have to say. At least my initial impression so far, game is dope. I did a couple of side quests. Some of the main story stuff, of course. But man, uh, that game is just impressive on so many fronts to me so far. Just, I mean, I understand. I know a lot of people were talking about like, oh man, the the why everybody's using the photo mode. Like, I can't play this game without using photo mode. After playing the game, I'm like, okay, yeah, I see why people are using the photo mode. The game is fucking beautiful, man. It is crazy how like graphically impressive this game is. How they use the environment, just everything is just like visually, aesthetically pleasing, man. It's crazy. Um, yeah, so it did get to a point where it was like it was a lot of moments where I was actually kind of resisting going into photo mode, but it was like a lot of moments. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I got to take a photo of this. I got to straight up had to go into photo mode. Took me a picture, and just in terms of photo mode specifically, it is in depth, man. It's like so many options you can choose from. So many like variables you can change. You can make things a totally different story than what you even intended to like picture, which is cool. Uh, yeah, so far I think about like 7 6 6 7 hours in. That game is so far I am impressed. Combat feels pretty good. Trying to apparently there are like multiple stances in the game you unlock by basically beating certain certain well I guess it's a multitude of things. Like you can do side missions as well as like hideouts, which when you do pretty much a combination of those, you unlock points, unlock skill trees and stuff like that. But yeah, at least so far, man, that game looks good, man. That is one of the best. I have to say, it's probably one of the best games I've seen on PlayStation 4. Yeah, I have to just those hours alone. I mean, Last of Us 2, get out the way. Ghost of Tsushima. It looks phenomenal, man. That game is stunning. Yeah, overall, man, that game is great. From what I played so far. I guess I can see some potential of the game maybe getting repetitive and things like that, but no, so far I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Game looks beautiful. That helps a ton. Um, feels smooth. Um, yeah, I was having a I guess internal conflict in terms of whether to go Japanese dub or English or no. Yeah, Japanese dub. No, Japanese with subtitles or English dub technically, but that's the thing. That's like the you know kind of the the big controversial debate between the two, like dub versus sub, but it's a weird scenario with this game where it's like they made the game with English in mind, but it seems like the Japanese was kind of an afterthought. So at least I started the game with Japanese with subtitles, but it seemed like the lip syncing was off, and I don't know that it felt like that was bothering me more than anything. Even though a lot of the old school like kung fu movies and stuff kind of had that, but it was like it's understandable it's a kung fu movie, but I mean this is a 2020 AAA first party game, so I mean it's like some of that suspension of belief you just don't suspend. So I got to a point where I'm like, out of curiosity at first, I'm like, you know what, I'm just curious, what is the English like? And it sound pretty genuine, where it sound like Japanese people if they spoke English, which I guess my fear was, English people speaking basically, and no like inclination or like sign or hint of like Japanese language or like a Japanese as their native language. So with that, I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and just go and play just English, and pretty satisfied with it actually. It feels more natural. Doesn't feel as like packed on necessarily. And like, don't get me wrong. I mean, you could still play it just fine with Japanese dub, but yeah, it just didn't feel right to me for this game specifically. I guess other games, you give more of a exception, like the Yakuza, but that's a whole different scenario because Yakuza has like is naturally dubbed in Japanese, and then at least with Yakuza 7 coming out in the West, it's gonna be dubbed in English, but it's uncertain if like the lip syncing is gonna be mashed up and stuff like that. So yeah. So with that, since this was is made in the West or originally made in the West, I was like, yeah, let me go with the English, and it sounds way more authentic than I was anticipating. So I'm enjoying it that way. Otherwise, yeah, I probably would have played in Japanese, but overall, yeah, at least initially playing the game so far, I'm liking it. The hooks are sinking in. All the upgrades are pretty elaborate. It's so much to explore because it's free roam. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty good summary impressions of Ghost of Tsushima so far. I can't even say it. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghosts of Tsushima. That's a tongue twister. Um, yeah. So outside of that, pretty much nothing else. I was trying to watch that Twin Peaks Firewalk with Me. That's still on my list. I was gonna get around to. I never did. Um, I do have it ready to watch, but I'll get to that. Maybe I'll tell you next episode. Might get to that finally. To conclude the whole Twin Peaks. I don't even know what you call it at this point, but yeah. All in all, I think that'll conclude episode 65 of Switches Sites. Um, if you're watching this on your favorite podcasting platforms, feel free to give a like, rate, subscribe on your favorite podcasting platforms. Greatly appreciated. If you want to catch this live on Twitch TV/aswitch, I generally try to. I want to commit to a time, but I feel like if I do, I don't. But I say at least expect me around 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific. I try to, but life happens. Try the best I can. All right. I'm trying out here, man. You can also watch these archived on youtube.com/aswitch. I keep a lot of that stuff. Um, actually, I'm thinking of actually making a highlight video of all like my Twitch, I guess essentially my Twitch highlights. So maybe if I'm feeling like it, might might expect that on the YouTube channel. I'm actually might get back to streaming games, like which I guess generally this platform is reserved for. But um, yeah. So oh yeah, any questions like to submit to the show, you can submit it at aswitchtv@gmail.com. If I get enough, I may dedicate a segment to that. What else? I always feel like I'm forgetting something. I think that's it. I think I covered everything. Oh yeah. Be safe out here. It's still crazy. People still not wearing their masks. Got Karens in full effect, acting the most fool. Acting the most fool. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna let it go. Acting the most fool. Um. So yeah, guys. Until next time. Don't touch people. Don't cough. Oh yeah.